being one of the 21.8 million, I decided to go to Concordia University. I remember packing like 3 weeks in advance to get ready, and I just remember my living room was piled high with boxes and boxes of clothes that I still haven't worn to this day with 1 week to go. And I remember from one of my trips from my room to the living room, my mom stopped me and she said, "Sarah, are you sure you still want to go? You can live here and you can still go to school." But I knew in the back of my mind that I had been anticipating this move for longer than she had expected. And then finally, when the day came, I went to campus and I was welcomed by many overly excited Concordia students who were just bombarding you with so much pressure. I remember going back to my room and just kind of being like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore, I want to go home. And it was just a lot. But then I started to realize, this is a really key moment in my life. And a lot of people talk about what students learn after their first year, after their whole year of college, their whole time at college. But I really just kind of wanted to reflect back on my first year, and that college doesn't always just teach you about academics, it teaches you a lot about yourself in general. So my first point is I learned a lot about myself. In my classes specifically, we talked about if you were an introvert or extrovert, which Eddie talked about last week. I definitely found out I was an introvert, and then I kind of liked to be in my room a lot. And that was a lot different from my roommate. And also being in college, you have so much more freedom and independence. Usually you're watched by your parents 24/7, and you aren't out of that bubble yet. But finally when you move away and you're in a dorm, you get to do whatever you want. You get to eat whatever you want, you get to decide if you want to have ice cream for breakfast or if you don't. And you get to decide when you want to go to bed and whether you want to do your homework or not. So it was a pretty big key moment to just learn a lot of responsibility and independence. Also, I learned that you aren't always the same student that you once were in high school. I was a valedictorian in my high school, and in the first semester of my college, I got a B. And it was pretty heartbreaking, but I will add that it was a B+, and it was my least favorite class. So I think it was a good way to go out and start my journey with B's. You definitely just learn how to know what classes you should study more for, and which assignments that you probably don't need to spend that much time on. Even though you don't want to tell your professors that you only read maybe half of the book. But I think it's important to find out which ones work best and which ones aren't so needed. And also I learned that professors are a lot different than high school teachers. Most of the time they just give you these textbooks in high school and they just tell you to read them, and there's one answer and there's no other answer, right or wrong. But in college it's a lot different. Professors, a lot of times, they invoke more thought, and they are always contemplating what the student should think, or how the student wants to think. There's definitely not always a right answer or a wrong answer, and I kind of like that aspect of college a lot more, because I felt like it was a way of stepping out of the box and not always feeling like you're constricted to one viewpoint. And especially going to a liberal arts college, it's a lot easier to do that because they're more out there, I suppose. Also, with college, I think it's important to find a group to stick with. I didn't do that so much in the first semester, and I realized that I was kind of on the outskirts of the social spot, and I wasn't really having that. It's kind of hard because, like I said, you left your whole comfort zone, and when you don't try to integrate yourself into the society, it can be kind of heartbreaking. So, for me, I personally started working at the campus's Office of Admissions, and it was really neat to be able to just talk to upperclassmen, and because most of them are juniors and seniors and then graduating. And it's just really nice to have an insight like that and be able to